name is Stephen. I live in Portmore, St. Catherine, and I'm a homeowner. Right, so what motivated me to become a home? I think for almost any individual, whether you're working or not, everybody kind of aspires to that day when they actually are able to acquire a property, whether it be a piece of land or even a home itself. It's for me, it's almost like that one thing that almost everyone has on their list of things to accomplish in life. And just like that, I pretty much aspired for that one thing. Wasn't sure how I was going to actually get there, in retrospect. But I started the journey a few years ago, and here I am today. So my home ownership journey was an interesting one. I mean, it's my first home, so fresh in this whole process, not knowing what to expect, not knowing exactly how everything will actually pan out. So it was really just an interesting experience. I had the privilege of actually, being kind of prepped a little bit from my dear friend Opal Cross, who gave me some tips and was pretty much there along the journey. So let's backtrack a little bit. Story time. So a few years ago, I had a coworker, when I was in a different department, a coworker actually introduced me to the development. I think at the time they were pretty much just building out the first subdivision, and she actually introduced me to it and was encouraging me to put my name down and just start the process. At the time, I pretty much just kind of underestimated myself, because I was thinking that I may not be able to afford it. I was also concerned about transportation, just based on the location of the development. I was concerned about transportation at the time. I wasn't driving, to be very honest, so I was just trying to figure out, okay, if I do start this process, how is it that I'm going to get to work? How is it that I'm going to actually move around? So those kind of thoughts kind of plagued my mind, and as such, I really didn't take up the offer at the time. Notwithstanding, she continued almost every year after that. She continued to check in with me, asking if I'm not going to put my name down for the development and so on and so forth. So a few years rolled by, and I transitioned departments at work and met Opal. And as usual, Opal, just being Opal, introduced me again, or reintroduced me to the development. And I just decided, hey, let me just put my name down. Wasn't sure where I was going to get the money from. Wasn't sure how I was going to even afford a mortgage at the point in time. I'll hope to get a little bit more money from a salary and then good thing there. But really wasn't sure how all of that would actually work. But I just say, hey, let me just put my name down. This is the second individual who is encouraging me and telling me about the development. So I decided to do that. So having placed my name on the waiting list, I believe, so the developers had a website and you could actually go in and log your interest and you're automatically added to the wait list. So having done that, I actually started the preparation, because on the website they actually gave you the estimated time for development, when they hope to start building and so on. So with that timeline in mind, I started my preparation. And how I pretty much started, there are some basic things that are required, with owning your own home. And one of those things is, your deposit. So they typically would say to you between 5 to 10% of the property value or cost you should actually have ready for your deposit. So with that percentage in mind, I started the whole journey of saving towards that deposit. One of the things I told myself was that I did not want to have to borrow money, whether it's from a financial institution or friends and family. So I started that journey to save, and I pretty much had a goal in mind, because the property prices were averaging around a certain amount. So I kind of had a figure in my mind, so I knew exactly what that deposit / closing cost goal was. So I started that. I actually started committing to a certain value or a certain amount, out of my salary every month, right? So I said, okay, then I'm going to save X amount out of my salary salary every month that should go towards my deposit. Not just that, you know, a little Christmas bonus and them little thing there. I decided that I was going to save all of those bonuses over the years and just put that towards it. So it was really a sacrifice because, you know, get the little bonus, you know, we have so many things that we want to do with it, and as usual, the money done even before you get it. But I had a goal in mind. I wanted to become a homeowner. I was actually excited about the process with just starting with saving, right? So I really just committed to doing that. And that's pretty much how the journey started. So my saving journey actually, I would say, started about 2 years before I actually heard from the developer. So that was, again, a commitment and a sacrifice I had made because based on the information on the website, I was pretty much aware of the estimated time that they would start development. So fast forward now to a few months before they actually start the development. So I got an email to say, hey, we're going to be starting our development process, and the email pretty much listed out a few things that we should start getting together. So a few documents. They also mentioned the deposit amount that you should have on hand and stuff like that. So got that email, I think it was about October or November the year before, because they had said that they would have started developing the following January in the new year or something like that. I can't really remember all of the details, but I think it was around that. So got that email, started preparing my documents, getting things together. A part of that whole email was also just getting a pre-qualification letter. So a little bit, you know, back again. So I actually started, although I placed my name on the waiting list for this particular development, I was also still actively looking for a property. Whether it was an existing property or a new development, I was still actively looking. So one of the very first things that you would have to do to just start your journey of home ownership is to get a pre-qualification letter, which pretty much tells you, based on your salary and your debts and so on, what is it that you're qualified for. So you have upfront the exact figure or amount or property price that you can afford based on your salary. So before you go hunting or looking for a home, know what it is that can manage your salary, your earnings can manage by getting a pre-qualification rate. So that was also a part of the email that was sent. So it came now to when they're ready to start building and they invited us to apply. So had all the documents ready, and funny enough, all of this happened in the beginning of COVID. So you can just imagine everybody trying to pivot. We're here in this pandemic. It's new to us, we don't know what is happening. So just to be able to manage the stress of the pandemic plus the stress of home ownership all in one. You can just imagine. So all of that started, within the pandemic period. So we were given instructions to ensure that we have all the documents ready in soft copy and just ready for the application process. We were also sent an email just to state that when it is that the portal, because again it's in the pandemic, so everyone had to be pushing things online. So this particular developer had actually created an application portal on their website. So they had given us the instructions to say when it is that the portal will be open for us to apply. And I know you're seeing me smiling because that's a whole story in and of itself. So we got the email, had all my documents ready, saved on my computer ready. Got the email to say, hey, the portal will be open on X date, X time. Who never sleep the night before, because we're just nervous and excited. Because what I ended up finding out is that the developers had a specific number of houses that they were going. It was like in the hundreds, right? I think it was like 399 or something for this particular subject. However, over 5,000 Jamaicans had, placed their name on the waiting list. So 399 hours, 5,000 Jamaicans. Not so good at maths, but yeah, somebody on the channel can actually work the maths. So it's really on a first come, first serve basis, if you're able to get your application in. They also said if the application isn't filled out properly, if all the documents are not there, then dog name is supper, pretty much. So got the email, the date, with the time, never sleep the night before. I actually was right 9 a.m. up way earlier around my computer, just waiting for, I think it was like 9 o'clock on a Saturday, the time to hit. Alright, so 9 o'clock came, I'm there on the website, refreshing. They actually sent, you know, some instructions that morning as well. They're trying to create the account, nothing is happening. Like the whole website, they just popped down, the portal just never did a work. So I actually was able to send an email to them as well as Paul to say, hey, I'm trying to, you know, create the account, so on and so forth. I'm getting this particular error. I emailed them a screenshot of the error. When I got through to somebody on the line, they were saying that, oh, they're aware of the situation and they're trying to fix it. Again, I think this, you know, is kind of understandable because it's the first time they were actually moving to an online application process. Before, I got to understand that you had to physically be at the office and people actually overnight sleep out the door, right? Just so that they could get an opportunity to at least, you know, get to pick a house or a lot right back then. So having moved the whole process to online, kind of understand the glitches that happened. Intuitively, I was still trying. However, I said, you know what? Let me just email all my documents, the application form, everything that was scanned and just waiting on my computer. Let me email it to the developer. And that I did. Emailed all of my documents and that. Only to receive an email probably like 10 minutes after I sent that email to say, hey, the portal isn't working, you will have to email your documents. I think it's about 10 or 20 minutes after I sent the email, we got that correspondence from the developers. So I was kind of happy that, you know, I kind of followed my mind and say, you know what, but I still try to figure out, you know, the error and to see if it will work, the platform will work. Let me email it just in case, because hey, I am just one out of 5,000 people who are waiting to see if we will get him. Sent out the email, got that response. I was happy I did it before. About, I would say about 20 or 30 minutes after we had gotten that email, we received another email to say that, hey, everything was gone, like all the houses, you know, we've gotten enough, we're closing up. So for me, I'm happy that I actually sent my email out as quickly as I thought about it, and you know, that was just the application process. After that now comes the waiting process, because as you can imagine, they will have to now go through their email inbox to look at every single application that they time-stamp the application in order for them to come up with the 399 prospective homeowners. So that waiting process, I think it took about like 2 or 3 weeks for the developers and the persons at that office to kind of sort through and so on. After I guess they went through, ensure that, you know, every application that they had gotten that would actually qualify or that would pretty much be receiving a home was vetted and everything like that. Then they actually started to call us, I guess based on the pecking order and the timestamp of your application. They started to call each prospective homeowner now for us to select our house, right? So that waiting process was nerve-wracking because you're really there wondering if you did actually make it, right? So you can just imagine, I'm there on my phone every single day for like almost 3 weeks. Don't want to miss a call, right? But before you actually got the call, they would have, you know, said to you that to look at the actual layout or the subdivision and to choose the lot. I think it was like 3 to 5 lots that you would be interested in to actually select that, so that when they actually call you, then you know it's easy for you to now say to them, okay, I'm interested in this particular house or that. So I actually had done that before, had my list and everything, just waiting by the phone, answering every single call. So you see, if like, did you sell it already a promotion? Trust me, we'll answer every call, right? So got the call, I was so happy that I had actually gotten the call. Really excited. And I tell you that when I actually answered the phone and they say, hi, I'm calling from so and so, I was like, you know, long may I wait for you to call me? Like that was literally my response. And you know, I was able to actually get one of the houses that I was interested in. So that actually kick-started everything else, you know, from there. Having to now get your deposit submitted by a certain date or transferred to them by a certain date, and then now the whole process now of getting the mortgage approved and all of, getting a lawyer to help you go through the documents and all of that actually, started, which was interesting for me. Again, being a new homeowner, I actually learned a lot from that process. So why I chose this particular community? To begin with, it is actually located within the vicinity where I've been probably for the past 13 or 15 years. So just by virtue of being acquainted with the area, I thought it would have been, a pretty good investment. Not only that, it is a gated community. So for individuals who probably have any particular security concerns or just want to have that sense of security, as it relates to your actual property and so on, that actually struck me as something that I would actually want to buy into. Additionally, each house or lot, as we call it, you have the opportunity to get actually yard space or a lot of land space around the property. So you have land space at the front, you also have land space at the back, and that is something that I was particularly interested in, just to have a nice backyard space that you can pretty much use for anything. You can, if I would have decided to do additions, at least I have the space around there that I can actually add and to build onto the existing property. So I think those reasons kind of drew me to the development, and I actually love the houses themselves, and the features that actually come with the house. There's a security system that is installed. It has solar water heater, and I think it was a pretty good buy. Alright, so what advice would I actually give to a young homeowner, or any homeowner for that matter? I think I'll just pretty much just sum it up in one thing: just go after it. Just go after it. As I had shared earlier, I had some apprehensions initially when I was introduced to the development. I was concerned about other things, and probably someone watching might think, these are so trivial, or why would he be thinking about transportation or stuff like that. But I would just say, just go after it. If you don't know where the money is coming from, if you are unsure, or just anxious about the process, don't let that stop you. For me, initially I didn't know where the deposit and closing cost was coming from, right? However, I I placed my interest on the list and I started working from there, because the truth is, wherever the funds should come from, it will, right? The process will work out. So I would just say, just go after it. It is a beautiful feeling. Know that, boy, you're coming home to your own home, your own property. As we usually say when we're growing up, you push your own key. Yeah, it is a wonderful feeling. So just go after it. If you have any particular concerns or questions, you can seek professional advice. And notice I use the word professional, right? So whether it is from someone who actually went through the process before, or you want to speak to a realtor, or you want to speak to someone who is or works with the developers, just get the professional advice and guidance that you need and just follow through with the process. Everything will work out. You will eventually end up owning your home, or even your dream home. So just go after it with everything that you have, and everything will work out.